Today I want to talk about um, reducing fractions, um, just because it seems to be something um, that a lot of kids are getting confused about. Reducing fractions, equivalent fractions. Let's just go right to this. And all right, so fractions, right? Let's say I have 1/2. Uh, what I can do is I know that anytime I have a fraction, right, with the same numerator and denominator, same number in the top and bottom, that means that it equals 1. They all equal 1. If it has the same numerator and denominator, it equals 1 because if I split this into 2 equal halves, right, that's what the denominator is, and then I have both halves, that's the whole circle. That's why if I split it into 3 pieces and then I have all 3 pieces, it equals 1. So that means, that means I can multiply this by 2 over 2. You just multiply across. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay? That means that 1/2 equals 2/4, because when you multiply by 1, the value does not change, right? If I multiply anything by 1, it's the same number. So it's the same thing here. So I can do 1/2 times 4 over 4. And that would give me 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, so I can do this with any number, right? I could do it times 100, okay, over 100. And that would equal 100 over 200, okay, which equals 1/2. So that is how we can think about equivalent fractions. But we also need to think about simplifying. And if I divide a number by 1, it also is the same number. So what I can do here to 2/4 is now I can divide it by 2 over 2. Okay. And then that'll bring me back to 1/2. And the reason this is important is because 1/2 is the simplified or reduced version of this fraction. Right? So all of these equal 1/2. And if you're on a test doing a multiple choice question and it's a word problem and your answer is 4/8, in the multiple choice, you're probably not going to see 4/8. You're probably going to see 1/2. So you need to know that 1/2 equals 4/8, or else um, you're going to get the question wrong, right? Or else you're not going to realize that the answer is 1/2. So you would have done all this work to get 4/8, and then you just get it wrong because you didn't realize that the answer is 1/2. So, really, the way reducing works, the most important thing is you need to find a common factor that is not 1. You need to find a number that multiplies to both of them. The easiest way to think about it is if I have 2 even numbers, that automatically means I can reduce by 2. Okay? I can divide by 2 over 2, and then that would give me 2/3, right? We're just going to divide across. Technically, this is not how you divide fractions, but in this case, this is how we do it, which is why I put two division signs here. But 4/6 equals 2/3. Now, if it's something like 5/7, I can't reduce it. There's no number other than 1 that divides into both, right? When it's multiplying, I can make any fraction with bigger numbers because I can just pick a number and multiply both top and bottom by that number. But when it's dividing, it's very specific because it has to divide evenly into both of them. So at this point, this is where you need to know your multiplication and division facts, right? And your factors, right? The numbers that multiply to give you a number. So if I have 8/32, now this one, I can divide each of these by 8, right? 8 is a common factor. So it would equal 8 divided by 8 equals 1. 32 divided by 8 equals 4. Okay? So this would be 1/4. But one thing I do want to point out is that if I got 8/32 and I said, oh, they're both even, I can divide by 2. Okay? And that would give me 4/16. And then I would say, oh, they're both even again. I can divide by 2 again. And then it would give me 2. Sorry about that. 2/8. And then I would say, oh, they're both even again. And then it would give me 1 divided by 4 if I divide, or 1/4 if I divide each divided by 2, right? So even if you don't divide with the biggest common factor right away, you can still get there by dividing like this with smaller common factors, because it'll keep breaking down until you get to the right answer. So that is basically an overview of simplifying and equivalent fractions. But really what it comes down to is you need to know your multiplication and division facts. Because if you don't know 8 and 32, 8 times 4 equals 32, this is really going to be hard. You really need to know these facts. So if you don't know them, memorize them, because otherwise fractions are going to be super hard.